What is up? This is Michael on the Graveyard Shift in the wee hours of the dead of night with your daily trivia question. Yet once again, happy Friday, folks. That's what I'm talking about. It's Friday, and it's payday Friday, too. Whoop, whoop. You can't get any better than that. First of the month. Well, it's the first of the month, so you got to pay all your bills. So we'll all be broke again by the end of the day. But let's enjoy it until then, okay? If not for anything else, the fact that it's Friday, and we'll get through Friday, and we'll start a nice weekend. Okay. Anywho, the answer to the previous trivia question was none other than the famous TV show, the Western drama called Gunsmoke. Now, you have probably heard of Gunsmoke at some point in time. It was on TV for a very, very long time. It was the long-running Western television series that was very popular in the 60s and 70s. It was actually, in its origin, a radio program dating all the way back to 1952. And this is not uncommon. This is how many of these TV series got their start, when popular radio programs of the time made the transition into the so-called era of the TV once we moved into the late 50s and into the 60s. Right, Gunsmoke was a perfect example of this very successful transition, and the show ran for a record-breaking 20 years on television, from 1955 through 1975, and it aired at a whopping 635 episodes. Now that, on face value, to some people who don't realize, the history of TV seasons and so forth, might not seem like much, but that is an incredible amount of episodes, and being able to sustain on TV for 20 years is an incredible achievement without question. The central character in Gunsmoke is a lawman named Marshal Matt Dillon, played by the very famous James Arness. There's very few people in television, I think, who can just carve out signature roles, and James Arness and his role of Marshal Matt Dillon was definitely one of those occasions. And the show chronicles his adventures through post-Civil War era of the developing West in what was known as Dodge City, Kansas, throughout the 1870s. The TV show also had supporting characters who, over time, became just as famous as the main character did, and this is the case when you have an ensemble cast of sorts. Gunsmoke was just that. For Gunsmoke, these characters included Doc Adams, Miss Kitty Russell, the pretty Miss Kitty, Chester Wesley Proudfoot, and of course we can't forget Festus Hagen. Good old Festus. He was always there to annoy everyone, but he kind of grew on you as a kind of a warm character just the same. Gunsmoke was one of those shows at the time that also transitioned from half-hour episodes to 1 hour in length. That is something you don't see anymore in TV. And during its peak in popularity, it also moved from black and white episodes into the era of color TV. These are all factors that I mentioned in the history of this whole thing as it relates to the trivia question, because this was added to the storyline and made it more popular to the whole storyline of the American Old West and so forth. It was a very, very popular show. Now, a couple of geek factoids. There are many, many when it comes to a show like Gunsmoke. James Arness, check this out. James Arness and Milbourne Stone, who played Marshal Dillon and Doc Adams respectively on Gunsmoke. These two portrayed their characters for 20 consecutive years. This is a feat that has only been surpassed in television history by Mariska Hargitay, who, of course, as we all know, plays investigator Olivia Benton on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Now, think about that. Cool geek factoid. That's just coolness right there. That's a television kind of a character show geek factoid in history that not many people out there can surpass or meet. Okay, Mariska Hargitay's record of beating that is actually 23 consecutive years to date. And I think it's still going, actually. So that was pretty cool. In addition to the regular cast, shows like Gunsmoke often had guests on the show periodically, and this served as a starting ground for these actors, some of which would go on to become very famous. This was not uncommon in shows like this from the 60s, in the 70s. Gunsmoke, The Twilight Zone, all these shows had periodic guests. For Gunsmoke, this included the likes of Burt Reynolds, William Shatner. That was pre-Star Trek. Jodie Foster, Betty Davis with her beautiful Betty Davis eyes, and the one and only John Drew Barrymore, who of the Barrymore family, all got their start on with appearances on Gunsmoke. 30 TV westerns came and went during Gunsmoke's 20-year tenure, but Gunsmoke outlasted them all. I thought that was a pretty cool geek factoid to include. And when it went down in history, commentary on Gunsmoke included Gunsmoke, quote, Gunsmoke was the great dramatization of the American epic legend of the West. Gunsmoke is well into syndication at this point in time. I think currently, as I was flipping through channels doing research on this, just through basic like cable, Gunsmoke is on 4 different networks. TV Land, I think, plays the most. Or you can pick it up on DVD. You can pick up any season of the 20 on DVD or pick up the whole set. Check it out. It's a pretty good show, folks. It's kind of routine-ish, if you will, but it's got enough characters and enough good writers in it in the ensemble cast to produce a really good show. It's worth watching if you've never seen it. I remember watching Gunsmoke when I was in college, my undergraduate years. It was on syndication then and on reruns, and it was one of those things you killed some time with between your like 12 o'clock class and your 5 o'clock class. We'd come home and do a little bit of homework, take a break, go to the kitchen and watch Gunsmoke on the TV. That's what we did. It was a pretty cool show, though. Check it out if you can. All right, folks, that's what I'm talking about. It is Friday. It's the end of the week. Let's do this day and get to the weekend for September 2nd. Here we go. Brand new trivia question on this day. In 1944, this future president of the United States is shot down into the Pacific Ocean when his squadron was attacked by Japanese anti-aircraft guns, where he would float on a raft for 4 hours before finally being rescued from the water. Good luck, folks. Think of the year. Do the math. Go from there. I'll give you guys a hint. It's not Donald Trump. Have a good Friday, folks. Peace out.